Are you ready to discover the training guru within you and learn more about accelerated learning? We have Suma Elwell, who is the VP for Organizational Development and Strategic Planning at the WRC Group. She's a site member, and she presented at the site conference in Colorado Springs. I attended her session. I learned a little Hindi, and super, super excited to introduce your presenter today, Suma Elwell. And let me go ahead and change presenter control to you. And you are in the driver's seat. Welcome.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we are good to go.
All right. Before we get started, I just wanted to quickly ask you, what is learning to you? Before we talk about accelerated learning, what is learning? If you can just quickly send me some explanations of your thoughts on learning.
So learning to me is doing something different. So to Kim, learning is adding something new to what you didn't know. Love it. Sonia, gaining new information. And Rob, knowledge transfer and application. And Julie, being able to do something new. I like that. Eric, broadening my knowledge. Doug, change in behavior based on additional knowledge. Zoa, new information or behavior. And Janine, gaining new knowledge to share with others. Love it. Thank you all for entering your comments on learning.
Thank you. That is also great. Now, Dave Meyer, who you will hear me talk about in the beginning, during, and end, to me, he is the accelerated learning guru. A lot of things that you see today is something that I have learned from him. And according to Dave Meyer, he says learning is creation, not consumption. And so as we walk through our accelerated learning techniques today, let's keep that in the back of mind. It is all about what are we creating, And with that,
I thought it was cool because in the introduction to his book, he talks about it, someone who had to rush in and be a replacement trainer and he forgot his materials and he just created things on the spot by getting people active and engaged. I thought that was a great story that he told in that book.
I agree. And just to briefly elaborate on what Sandy was saying, he was there to do a training on, I think it was something on facility safety. Mm-hmm. And the materials were very dry. And when the participants came in and he realized he had forgotten the material, he quickly said, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to go walk around the building and bring back to me what you find some of these safety issues. And right away, he engaged them in a very dry topic because they were active. They went across the building, they found things, they came back, and now they were engaged in learning, okay, these are the safety hazards in the company, and what do we do to fix those? So as you can see, quite often, most of us insurance trainers, we have a very tough challenge. Not everything we have to teach is very interesting. So how can we use some of these creativity to build into our learning programs or training programs? So what is accelerated learning? Accelerated learning is nothing but a whole body and mind engagement. So just like in Dave Meyer's example, where he got his participants to go and physically engage in their learning, that is what accelerated learning is all about. You tend to remember more when you have engaged yourself fully in the learning experience. And how do you do that as a trainer? How do you make sure your participants are getting the whole body and mind engagement? It is by using the 4 different kinds of accelerated learning techniques. Now, before I tell you what these techniques are, can you just quickly tell me, just looking at the pictures, what could those 4 techniques be? Let's take a few minutes for you to just type in some of those for me.
So when I see dice, I see gambling. I don't know why. Oh, Sonia got it though. Gamification.
Okay.
And Paula asked questions. Debbie, risk. Oh, the dice, yeah, risk. Zoa, collaboration, investigation, communication, activity. Eric, games and group learning. Julie, sharing what you just heard. Doug, game sharing reflection. Julie, reflection. Debbie, critical thinking. Yeah, great. Engagement. Marianne, thank you. And Janine, interaction with others. Liz, asking questions. Thank you so much. Great job.
And excellent. You all gave different words to the accelerated learning techniques. So there are different ways to explain all these pictures. But the way I have put it today is our accelerated learning techniques are for, you have your visual learners, you have your physical learners who like to do things, your intellectual learners, and then, of course, communication, verbal, say what you may. These are your 4 learning techniques. So to get a whole body and mind engagement, you want to make sure as you are designing your training program, you bring in all these elements, because it's hard to know before you go into a training session, how many of them are visual learners, how many of them are physical. So if you want to get them to have a full learning experience, your best choice is to make sure you are putting a certain level of visual learning, physical learning, intellectual learning, and verbal learning into your learning design. So as we go forward with our session today, I just want to know, what are some of your learning styles? Are you a visual learner, physical, intellectual, or verbal learner? If you can just get me.
So now it's interesting. We're forcing people to choose one. They don't get to pick more than one. So what do they do about that? Go ahead.
Good question, Sandy. And that is a very good question. Put what is more dominant for you. Because like in my case, I am a verbal and a visual learner. But when I really look at it, I'm more a visual learner than a verbal learner. So put whatever style is more dominant for you.
So far we have 72% of the folks who voted. So if you haven't voted, all you have to do is click one of the buttons on the screen with your mouse, and I think it automatically records your vote. And let's go for 100%. Come on, we can do it. 86% have voted. 89, come on. 92, you could do it. Last chance, I'll give you a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we got 92% of the people to vote. This is interesting. 45% are visual learners, 24% intellectual, 18% physical, and only 12 verbal. Interesting.
So which means I shouldn't be doing lecture in this session, correct? Is that what you're telling me?
Okay, let's just turn over the controls. Raise your hand right now. I'm going to promote you to organizer. Who's game? Ready? Come on. I know there's some webinar experts out there. Okay, so I closed the poll, and I think we're back to your screen now. Oh, Debbie volunteered. Okay, I got your name.
Thank you. Okay, so as far as learning styles go, under each of your learning techniques, visual, physical, intellectual, and verbal, you have different learning styles. Some people, a visual learner, they may like to learn looking at pictures, images, visualization, mind maps. I mean, and what I've given you is just a few examples. I mean, it's not all the visual learning styles. So there are a lot more that you can add to that. As far as physical people go, you have your hands-on activity, role play, flashcards. Intellectual are questionnaires, quizzes, and self-study, and verbals are lectures, mnemonics, and brainstorming. Now, Once again, there are a lot more things you can do to engage your 4 learning styles. But these are some of the activities that you will see me using today in a webinar. Okay, so a couple of things. Today, you're going to see how you can not just use accelerated learning techniques in webinar, but you're also going to get some ideas about, as you are designing your training sessions, your classroom sessions, or, what are some of the activities. You get a chance to just start thinking about some of the activities you can include also. Now, for all my visual learners, can you tell me what your favorite learning method is? We just went through a few, like I said, pictures, images, visualization, mind maps. So my visual learners, what else would you like to add to that?
Go ahead and enter into the question box. I like YouTube videos. Yeah, Eric says videos too. Zoa says, YouTube is great, actually. You can Google anything. And just use the search bar in YouTube and find answers to anything. Let's see. I had my car window go out, and it was something to do with the motor mechanism. I found a YouTube video that showed me how to do everything and saved myself $150. It's just crazy. Okay, so Debbie likes vibrant pictures. Zoa likes infographics. Those are really popular. Debbie likes animation. Kim, music and songs. Paula, videos. You can view it over and over again if needed. Love that. Thanks, Kim. And Janine, graphics are great. Barbara likes words in writing, her handwriting. Yeah. I like to take notes to keep me active. Even though that's kind of an active type thing and not necessarily visual, but like if you see your handwriting. So great responses. Thanks.
Great. And how about intellectual? My intellectual learners, what do you prefer? So
go on intellectuals. What do you like as part of the learning process? Enter now. So Kathy says discussion group, and Zoa, brainstorming and discussion. Deborah likes case studies, and Zoa added in research. We've got a few more. Kim likes social aspects of learning. Anyone else want to weigh in? Intellectual learners? Ooh, Maria, role plays. Yes. Very good.
Great, thank you. How about physical?
Where's our physical learners? Are you fidgeting right now? I hope you're doing jumping jacks or something. Stand up from your desk. Sonia likes to, the hands-on, the do it herself. If she's learning something new, don't show me, let me do it. Yes, Kelly, hands-on learning. Keep them coming. And how about the
verbal learners?
Thanks, Paula. Okay, verbal. What do you like about verbal learning? So I like Jenny's comment, blended learning, tell me, then let me try it. So it's kind of a combination. So what other verbal? You better be loving this webinar. Right?
Exactly.
What was our percentage for verbal? It was the lowest, 12%, I think. Yeah, interactive webinars. Thank you, Maria.
All right. Okay, so today we are going to do an activity where I'm going to teach you to speak 2 sentences in Hindi, which is a language spoken in India, in the next 10 minutes, okay? What I want to show you is learning a new foreign language is in itself a challenge. and how accelerated learning techniques can help, speed up that learning experience. So before we start our activity today, I just quickly want to just raising your hand. How many of you can speak a language other than English fluently?
So I know buenos días, ¿cómo está? Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú?
Great. Great.
So,
how about some other participants?
Yes. Rudy speaks Spanish, Doug, Hebrew, Spanish, German, and French. Wow. Sonia, I tell my husband that I love him in French. Aww. That's sweet.
So here's my question. For those of you who do speak some other languages, or certain words in some other languages, what are some ways you remember these words? Especially if it's the first time you're trying to learn to speak.
So repeat the question again.
How do you remember some of these words?
How do you remember?
Because
so
yeah.
Janine says repetition, and Doug says the words are applicable in everyday conversation. Zoa says depends on the context, if I hear it and how it's reinforced. Kelly says my German Shepherd's trained using German commands. The hand gestures taught with the commands help the retention. Oh, that's cool. And
very interesting.
Zoa says, I know some Italian common words because they were used. And Rob, typically their expressions are words that I've heard and they become part of my vocabulary over time. Paula, repetition or even song. And Jenny said, I had to remember to say hello and hold please when I handled claims so I could obtain a language line. Oh, I like that. Julie, an association I have with a person helps her remember. Good responses.
Great. All right, so today you will see, I'm going to use some of the techniques that you have shown me or talked to me about. Okay, especially I like that one which you talk about the sign. So as we go through learning the two sentences in Hindi, before learning any language, the key is understanding the basics of grammar. Okay, how do you arrange the sentence? What comes first? The noun, the verb, the preposition. How do you place them, and where do you place them? So before we go to learn the actual words in Hindi, we are first going to learn the grammar that dictates how the sentence is laid out. In Hindi, for a basic sentence, the noun and pronoun come first. And then a noun and pronoun is usually followed by a preposition. And then that is followed by a verb. Okay? What happens when there is no preposition? Then a noun or a pronoun is followed right by a verb. So that is just the basic. And this is for you, my visual learners, a little mind mapping for you so you can remember what came first, what came last, and what was in the middle. And now for my little verbal learners, my 12% of verbal learners, I'm going to give you a little story to remember this grammar rules that I just explained, okay? So let's say noun and pronoun. Papa and Mama had two children named verb and preposition, okay? So every morning, verb followed noun and pronoun and preposition to sentence school, right? So there you go. There's my little noun and pronoun and preposition and verb going to school together, okay? And then one day what happened is preposition was not feeling well. So what happened? Verb had to follow noun or pronoun to the sentence school. So now how many of you can basically tell me, so what comes first? I know we have the rule mnemonics at in the bottom. That's part of the repetition to learn our grammar rules. But what comes first in a Hindi sentence? Can you quickly type it for me?
So Julie says noun, noun or pronoun.
Okay, great. All right, what comes next? If there is no preposition, what comes next?
Verb.
Okay, and what would be the hint? Now, as you can see up here, I do have the Hindi words put up. So can somebody guess and tell me what would be that verb that we're talking about?
So, hey. Doug and Rick say, hey.
All right. There we go. Great. So we heard that noun or pronoun come first, and then it is followed by hey. All right. This first sentence we are going to learn in Hindi today is to say, my name is, and whatever your name is, you're going to put that at the end. Okay. So before we go forward, you want to learn how exactly to pronounce these words. So in Hindi, the pronunciation for my is mera.
Mera.
And name is pretty similar to, what we say in English, except it's nam, without an E. So name is nam. And is hey, just like the word hey. Okay, so what I wanted for my physical learners to do at this point, or everybody, not just my physical learners, but what I want you to do is, go find something in your cube or in your office and bring it back. So something that reminds you of the word mera, something that reminds you of the word nam, and something that reminds you of the word hey. And if you can't find an object, then come up with a hint, any kind of hint. It could be, a word in English that reminds you of the word mera, so any kind of hint. So let's take a couple of minutes to just get some of our hints over here that will help you remember the words mera, nam, and hey. And once you come back, what I would like you to do is type in and tell me what some of those hints are.
So I'm grabbing a plaque that's made of glass that kind of reminds me of a mera.
Okay.
Debbie says mirror too. She has a mirror. Julie is got her calendar page. Rick has a mirror, a nameplate, a picture of hay. He works for Farm Bureau. I love it. Jeff has a picture of a horse, a mare that eats hay.
Great.
Kelly, a hand mirror, mira. A snack, nom for nom. And hey, waving her hand. Like that. So Julie has a plate for nom. And, okay. Kim has a picture of Vietnam, nom. Eric, a business card with my nom on it. I love it. Janine, a mirror. Debbie, a picture of a man, nom spelled backwards. I like that. For Zoa, for her, it's just a look at each word. Myra has an MY in it, or Mira has an MY in it, and nom is just missing the E, and the hey is just the hi of the introduction. So thinking about it helps her remember. Oh, Eric says Maya Angelou's name song for Myra.
Wow.
That's great.
Any more? Oh my God, this is really great.
Yeah. Doing great. No, I think we're good.
And I should say, you guys are a lot more creative than the people I had at my face-to-face session.
I was there and I can attest to that.
Yes. I'm like, wow. It's, like Nam is man spelled backwards. Wow. Okay. I didn't think of that. And by the way, I've been doing this a few times now, and then not once did I think of that. Do we have any more?
I think that's it. Yeah. Oh,
All right,
actually,
great.
Maria says name in Italian is nom.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Thank you, Maria. So now we all know that.
Yeah.
Well, see, it was just not learning Hindi. We are going to learn, by the end of the session, we learned a lot of the languages.
And I'm wondering if it's nome or name, because it's spelled Nome, not just Nam. Interesting. Yeah.
Very interesting. So thank you again. All right, so now what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to show you some flashcards, okay? All right, can somebody tell me in English, what is Mera? You can type in your message.
Zoa, Kim, Eric, Kevin, everyone's getting it right. My.
Great. Let's go with Nam.
Mera Nam. Rick, Paula, Jeff, Sharon, everyone's getting it right. Name.
Great. And hey.
Thank you, Doug, Kelly, Sharon. Is. Mera,
all right.
Mera Nam Hey. We're missing something.
Hey, great. Great. Now, how many of you, without any more hints, can type in my name is and whatever your name in Hindi? I want you to type that in the message box.
Okay.
And for those of you who are in a closed cube or in a closed office, or if you think your neighbors wouldn't mind you saying this out loud, I would like you to say it out loud in your cube also, as you are in your office space, as you are typing this.
So I have lots of people weighing in, and most of them are saying, Mera Naam Hai Maria. Mera Naam Hai Sharon. Mera Naam Hai Kathy.
Okay. All right. And I pretty much guessed that. That's why I have my next slide here. One of the things with the problem with Hindi is, is always comes at the end.
Is that funny or
the
what?
Word hey, yes, always comes at the end. That's why I was just curious to see, how, and that is, it's a quirkiness. So the English sentence structure obviously is my name is, whatever, but the Hindi sentence structure is my name, and then you say your name, and then is. So now, having known that little quirkiness about the Hindi sentence structure, let's see, how would you say my name is?
Now we're getting it. Mera naam Maria hai. Mera naam Rudy hai. Mera naam Sonia hai. Mera naam Kim hai. Mera naam Maria hai. Mera naam Eric hai. This is great. You guys are getting it.
Excellent. Do we have more people?
Oh yeah, I think half the class is right there with us.
Wow. So now ready to, so everybody with me, we are on the first sentence. We've done the first sentence. Okay, now we are moving on to the second sentence. All right. And before we go to the second sentence, let's learn the words. We are going to say, my house is in, like in my case, I will say my house is in Madison. Okay, so that's what we are going to learn to say in Hindi. All right. And for that, you need to learn two more words. The word is house and in. All right. Now, I want you to take again a few minutes to get up and go find something that reminds you of the word. In Hindi, the word house is you say it as ghar, and in is may, just like may in English. Okay, so house is ghar, and in is may. So now, quickly, just let's get some hints for these two words. It can be objects, it can be anything that reminds you of these two words.
So Doug has a picture of him looking at his car. For car.
Okay. Yeah.
And Janine says, I am in my house. Sharon, the calendar page for May, and a small toy car that sounds like car. So Kelly, model race car. And Rudy, a house garage. I think we're stumped.
All right.
Her.
But all those are good.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are good. Those are all really good. So let's go to our flashcards. Can you type in and tell me what Mira is?
Mira.
In English.
My. Thank you. Zoa, Doug, Debbie, Paula, Kelly, Liz, Sharon, Rudy, Kelly, Janine, Rob. Everyone's getting it. My. Mira, my. Mira, my.
All right. Okay. Now, before I went to the next flashcard, let me see how many of you can tell me what you say in Hindi for house.
That's the noun. Yes, ghar, right? Ghar.
Mm-hmm. Ghar. Yes, ghar.
Ghar.
Like a dog. Dog goes ghar.
Ghar. Ghar. Mira
Dog
ghar.
growls ghar.
Yep, they're getting it. Rick, Rudy, Doug, Zoa, Julie, Sonia, Liz, Kelly, Janine, Kevin, Paula, Kelly, Melissa, Debbie. Everyone's getting it. Mira ghar.
Okay, and can somebody tell me what in Hindi, how do you say in?
All right. May. Liz, Kelly, Paula, Kevin, Janine, Melissa, Rudy, Zoa, Debbie, Doug. May. Mira ghar May.
And how do you say is?
Hey. Yes. Hey. Melissa, Rick, Liz, Rudy, Kelly, Zoa, Doug, Sonia, Paula, Kelly, Kevin, Janine. We have lots of Kellys here. We have a Kelly with an I, a Kelly with an EY. This is great.
All right, great. Now ready for the next challenge?
Yes.
Obviously, like I said, is always comes in the end. So your English sentence structure is my house is in Madison. Your Hindi sentence structure will be my house, Madison in is. So now how many of you, can you all just type in for me, my house is in Hindi?
I think they're getting it. Rick is saying, Mera ghar Crawford mein hai.
Very good.
Kelly's Mera ghar Boise mein hai. Liz, Mera ghar mein Arlington Heights hai. Oh, that's a little different.
Arlington Heights mein hai.
Mein hai. Janine, Mera ghar Winfield mein hai. Doug, Mera ghar Tampa Bay mein hai? Or Tampa. Okay, Tampa mein hai. Kelly, Mera ghar Bay City mein hai. I think they're getting it now. Thanks, Paula,
Great.
Sharon, Zoa, Kevin, Rudy, Julie, Liz. You're getting it.
Thank you. Amen. This is excellent. Good. All right. So now for the next. For the next, okay, looks like before we went to the next slide, what I would like you to do is Sandy, is it possible to unmute them so they can say this?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna unmute all.
So what yes, and what I want you to do is when Sandy unmutes you, I want you to say both the sentences together. My name is, and my house is in. You're going to say both those sentences together. So
here we go. I've never done this before, but I'm going to unmute all on the count of three. At the count of three, you're going to say your sentence, okay? 1, 2, oh, let's see. Hold on a second. I have to do this one at a time, it looks like. Just hang on there. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Okay, I muted everyone again. That was awesome. I heard lots of Miragar and the city Mehe. That was great.
Great. Okay, so now Sandy did send this as a PDF, this particular slide as a PDF also, but can you just tell me, from a visual standpoint, what are some of the activities we used today as we went through learning Hindi? What are some visual activities? We'll just go down the list. What are some visual activities we used?
Visual activities. So Kim, pictures. Liz, flashcards. Zoa, images, mind maps. Debbie, you showed me the spelling of the words. And Paula, flashcards. Cool. Visual. Great, great. So Kelly, visual reminders to place on your desk. I like that, getting the objects.
Okay.
Yes.
What about physical? What about my physical learners? What physical activities did we use?
What physical activities did we use? Kim, getting the objects. Melissa, hands-on. Zoa, typing in the answers. Paula, hands-on. Love it. Kelly, gathering objects. Thank you, Doug. Kathy, practice saying the words. Cindy, flashcards. Kelly, physically getting the objects. She used a couple of gestures, waving for hey. Kim said polling. Great, great. Thank you.
Thanks so much. How about intellectual activities?
Intellectual. Okay, I can launch our test now. Okay, Kim, polling. Paula, quizzes. Yes. We were quizzing you, right? We were putting you on the spot. Doug, remembering the words. Great, thanks.
Okay. And what about verbal? My 12% verbal learners. What do you think we used for verbal activities?
So Liz, mnemonics. Kim saying the phrases out loud. Doug, unmuting the lines. Was that hilarious or what? I don't think I could do that. I don't think the bandwidth's big enough for that. Kathy, voice to say it out loud. Great.
Right. Thank you. And so here are, just a few things that I agree also that, we used for these activities: pictures, images, visualization, mind maps, physical hands-on, role play. I mean, we didn't use specifically a role play, but, it was more of going and getting what you have. I mean, doing a role play per se on a webinar can be a little bit challenging unless you use a video cam, and it still is going to be, the distance is going to limit it. Now, I'll tell you, when I did this exact same activity at our conference, when we did the grammar portion of it, we did a role play to teach them the grammar rules. And so we had a person enact and come and be the noun. We had a person be the preposition. We had a person come and be verb. And it was more of they were coming to a grammar party. And who came first, who came next kind of thing. So, so today you saw a different variation of how we can still, do that.
Right.
Yes, we used questionnaires and quizzes, lectures, mnemonics, and we did some brainstorming actually a little bit when we were in the at the conference. So there are some things that you can do. Webinar has its limitations, but I think for most part, if going back, if you are willing to do that, learning is a creation attitude. If you're going to expand your horizons and your mind, you can definitely, apply a lot of accelerated learning techniques as you go through, regardless whether it's a webinar or a classroom activity.
Yeah.
So on that note, yes. At
Well,
this point, I'll...
Yeah, we do have some questions too. So, and I want everyone who is still here to enter in your questions now. We have a couple in the queue, and I'll let you introduce this book. I sent it out via chat as well. So go ahead. So, so the Accelerated Learning book by Dave Meyer, the Accelerated Learning Handbook, I'm actually going to download it to my Kindle Reader now. I just love the whole idea of thinking about learning as a creation, and the more that you can incorporate a lot of the elements that Suma was teaching us today for all the different types of learners. I think that's awesome. Zoa is asking, if we are including auditory learners with the verbal, is that what you mean by verbal? Auditory learners?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, great. Rudy's asking, is there a recommended program out there that we can use to tell us what kind of learner we are? So let's use the wisdom of the crowds here. We have a lot of experience on the phone. Type in one of these assessments that you use to tell you what kind of learner you are, or maybe you assess your learners. Are there any out there that you're aware of? And then I'll let you respond, Suma, if you know of any good ones. Programs that tell us what kind of learner we are, like an assessment where you can answer questions.
I can surely send you some, and that I'll do that as something that I can. That'll be my action item from today's session.
Yeah.
To send you some links.
Right, to what kind of learner. Zoa says Myers-Briggs helped her. I've done the Myers-Briggs. Yeah, that gives you a lot of information, but I know there's specific assessments out there. Maybe someone can Google learning assessments. There
are. Because a long time ago, when I did this for ASCD, we did do an assessment. So that's why. But I have to go back and get you that material. So
right.
And some of these words that you're using, auditory learner, kinesthetic learner, all that's Howard Gardner. He has a different variation to this. He also includes musical, oral. There are different levels he expands on, and Dave Meyer has just compressed them into 4 levels. But Howard Gardner, I think, in his case, he has about 8 or 9 different learning styles that he uses. So going back to that question about, auditory learner, are they the same as verbal learners? That is just a difference in the terminology, and also, there are 2 different approaches to it. So
right. Well, we are nearing the end of our time. Suma, I want to thank you so much for spending your time with us, not only today, but at the site conference, and sharing your talents and experience around the topic of accelerated learning. I know I'm motivated to learn and research more. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.